Hello, legitimates. Let's make something legit. And that is obviously this glorious hat. It has a lot going on, so let me just explain. We have used the I-cord maker to make part of the band. We have used DTF everywhere to make it look amazing. I have added some bag hardware and added some like little grommets here. We have a little bit of sparkle, little bit of everything. We've got feathers, because what's a custom hat without feathers? So I'm going to show you the process of how to make one of these. Let's get to it. All right, so first up, you obviously need a hat. This was a $12 hat from Kmart. It's a bit big for my head, so I will have to go and eventually get some foam that you tuck into here, but you know, it'll be fine. So what we want to do is you're going to need a tape measure. I work in millimeters for DTF because I find it's just easier to work it out. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to know how wide it is from here to here, how tall, like what spaces. I'm going to put something here as well because I think that'll be fun. It'll probably just be the end bit here, unless I can find something with like branches. And then I need to decide, do I want to do the bottom as well? So first off, we need to know the width of here. So it is to the brim. I'm going to try and get that decoration there off too because I don't love it. I'm pretty sure it's stuck on, so we might have to cut it off. But we're going to measure, and so it is 68 millimeters or 6.8 centimeters, which is, I don't know what an inch is. It's easy to work in millimeters when we're trying to be precise. So let's go to the program and start adding all the things in. All right, so we're going to select Neville. I have made this whole video twice as fast just because there's a lot of clicking to be happening. It tells me that I haven't used my thing in 3 days, which is a lie, but it just basically wants me to go clean it, so I did that. Now, all of these designs came from Creative Fabrica, and I will not need any of them that big. So as I select the ones I like, I will be shrinking them down to a more appropriate size. And if you right-click and go extra large icons, you can see the pictures clearer, which makes it much easier to pick which one you want because they're usually just named numbers or something to that effect. So you can see I've got several folders here with all different designs, and then I just have to pick things that I like. You can obviously add as many or as few as you want. You saw at the start of the video that this was in fact enough, but I probably could have really filled it with like a lot more if I chose to. Like I could fill the entire brim with like flowers and stuff. It just depends on the look that you're going for. You got to have a butterfly because there's butterflies in it, and I want it to all kind of be matching. I didn't end up using this particular one, but that's mainly because I just made it too small. If it had been a bit bigger, I definitely would have put it on the hat. So just keep that in mind. It's a little bit smaller. So that is going to be the center front of the hat. And I think that's all I wanted from there, but it's just always good to check. There's not really any hurry. I've sped this up for you guys, but there was no hurry for me to pick which ones I wanted. And then that was another option, so I wanted to pick between those two, and I decided I did not want skulls in my hat. I already have a hat that's full of horror, so we chose that. Now what I'm doing here is typing in the size of the width and then measuring the actual flower to make sure it's going to fit, because the overall height of that includes the curve. So we just needed to know at the center point that it was going to be the right size. So that's why I drew that rectangle. The width and stuff is actually not helpful. You need to do that particular rectangle to make sure. Then I'm going to take one and flip it so that they are mirror images of themselves. So both sides of the hat are going to be symmetrical. You don't have to do that, but I've just drawn a bit of a visual for you. So that's kind of a hat shape. And so that's what it will pretty much look like. I mean, if you wanted to, you could actually measure the width and height of the oval in your hat so that you could perfectly design something. I'm not super worried. I'm also going to take off the excess, like I cropped the image because the empty space counts as the total height. So the closer you are to the edges of the actual design, the more realistic the actual height of your designs will be. So that's why I'm doing it this way. And I think that the jewel or the crystal had a little bit too much gap, and that's why it's so small. So anyway, we're going to line these up with the top because we don't like to waste film. There's no need to waste things. Then we're going to bring these in. So I decided to put that up the top and close to the edge, but not in the grey section. The grey section is off limits. So then I've just got to figure out where to put it. You don't want them so close that they're touching because it's harder to cut, but you also don't need a big gap around them, especially if it's just for yourself. If you're selling them to someone, you might want to leave a bit more of a gap unless they specifically request not to. And then we just print. So I have sped this up as well so that you can just see it printing nice and quickly. All right. They are all printed. Come out lovely. Before I do anything, we're not even going to turn the iron on yet. We need to try and see if we can remove this band. I don't like it. It's not the vibe. So we basically need to go through, see where it's attached, and try and cut it off. I am going to put a new band on. It is held on with glue. I can see it. But for the most part, it's kind of actually lifting off. That was a lot easier than I thought. It is leaving some like residue. It'll be fine. Like I said, we're going to cover it, but we're going to put the band on last, and that's just not the right color. So now we can turn the iron on. This is the HTV Ront mini press for anyone who's wondering what I'm using. I love it because it's small and convenient. So now we have to cut these all out individually. You don't have to leave a lot of the film around it, and it'll be easier to position with less, actually. So let me cut all these out, and we also need our heat-resistant tape. And I'm using those scissors because I have a sharpener, so it won't affect the quality of them. So you want to get it directly in the center, and then you want to have these even. If nothing else, have them even on each side of the hat, because if you kind of have them, I mean, you could do it like that, but it's, again, not what I'm going for. So I want them at the sides. And I'm just looking over, and that feels right. So we're going to take some double-sided tape and just put a little bit so it doesn't move. Now this is a felt hat, so I'm not really worried about putting the iron on it. It should be fine. I just want to make sure that this is even, because once it's on, that's it. We've made peace. That looks even there. So again, just a little bit of tape. I mean, you can use as much as you feel comfortable with, really. There's no right or wrong answer. And then we're just going to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1. It's like dancing. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm just going to do that because there's like a bit of a moment right there. You don't have to necessarily push crazy hard, but I am putting a little bit of pressure because I want this to stay on. Moving, really, just not an option. And that is not flat. It's going to be a problem in about 2 seconds. Oh no. Okay, then I'm going to pop this. I don't know how well this is going to iron on because it is a curve, but we are going to try. The iron actually fits pretty perfectly. I don't know if you can see that, but look, perfect. I don't want to push too hard because I don't want to misshape the hat, but I also need to put some pressure to make sure it's going to stick. Okay, so then we want to think about the one on the front. So the one I picked for the front is the one with the cool jewel, because I thought that was pretty. And you don't want to put it too far down because, again, with the band, so we're going to just put it a bit higher. More tape. This tape is, you know, going to save us a lot of drama. And the most important thing is you want it like vertically straight. That just moved. I'm just gonna, oh, would you look at that? It's working. I love it when things work. This is gonna be the coolest hat. I'm not really a hat person, but I think that's also because I've never found one like this pretty. How cool is that? All right, peel that off. You can reuse this tape if it's still sticky enough. Did this one work? That's the real question. Oh, it did. We even got the one on the roof. I don't know what the top of the hat's called. I'm calling it a roof. What are you going to do? All right, so now I'm going to put this in my lap, and then I'm going to come with the iron, start in the center. I've got my hand underneath. We just have to really hope I don't burn myself. If you're worried about burning yourself, maybe roll up like a ball of fabric and then touch that against where you are, so that way you won't burn your hand. It is getting warm, but it's not unbelievably hot or unbearably hot, or however you want to say it. This is going to be the coolest freaking hat. Okay, so they're like the main 4 points that I wanted to do. Now we need to put some stuff in here and in here. I might need more. I'm thinking I will need more. So we can put, I don't want to put something directly in the front, so I'm thinking maybe 2 and 2, maybe. So if we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then let's spin it around. And I could do that and that. And then I have one more, and I could pop that on the back here like that. You could also do crazy more. I don't know if I want to overload it that much or not. So far it is looking good though. I could also put that in the hat top as well. No. I do like the ideas of these here, and because it's all matching, it feels good. The butterfly, well, the other option is the butterfly could go like up here, and then I could pop that one there. But now that looks too small. So I am going to put this one here. So we're just going to, I'm not even going to tape it down. It'll be fine. And you can see I am getting like iron marks. I feel like that'll be fine. We can either get a brush to kind of re-fluff the felt, or I can just iron the whole thing later. Either way, it's going to work out. I have faith in my mad plans. Do feel slightly like a crazy scientist right now, but it's fine. Everything's fine. I really want to make sure that's on, especially at the edges, because we're going around a curve. Sometimes they like to be a little bit dodgy. All right, wait till it cools down. No, I will put the butterfly there. Why not? This one's too small, but it doesn't mean I won't necessarily use it. It just means it doesn't quite match right now. Okay, this one's cold. Let's see. Okay, I can tell you right now, I missed the corner. See how it's not stuck? So we're not even going to try and lift further. We're just going to press it again, because the last thing we need to do is to have it rip. I have ripped them in the past. It is a nightmare. It's my own fault for not doing it properly, and it's always been with this, never with the full heat press. But a hat's not going to go in like the auto press too. No deal. It's beeping because it said I haven't been used, or it's like timing out. You just turn it off and on again. It's fine. You can also come back and do like another iron on top of this. Do not drag it though. If you're going to do it, just kind of press it on and off. That one needs longer. So you can tell they're not stuck properly if the wrapper won't just peel away easily. It happens. Happens to me all the time, actually. It just means you haven't pressed it for long enough or with enough pressure. So you lift the edge and then you see if it's going to lift off. That one worked great. Let's try this one. Ta-da! And again, you can see up close that we've got these marks. I will deal with that. I'm more concerned about getting the designs on. Okay, so I did lift that, but see this very corner? It's not stuck down. So we're just going to come down and just plop it on. Just a little bit. I promise it all works out in the end. Okay, let's see how I did with this one. This is the one that's potentially going to be the worst, right? Because of the curve and everything, we want to make sure that the edges are stuck. Because I can already tell the very tip of that has not stuck. So if I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but if I lift it just like a little bit, see how it's still stuck to the film? That is the opposite of what we want. So I'm just going to come in here, make sure that the iron is touching it. And let's check the other side before I iron it again. This one looks fine. Okay, so that side's fine. The bottom, not so much. All right, it's the little dripping parts. They are very, ow, don't touch it, it's hot. Ow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a ruler and just kind of, now that it's hot, I'm just going to try and make it really stick. Same with that angle, because most of that has now lifted off. It's just the little fiddly bits where the tape is that we have left. I know you can't see, hold on, sorry. Nailed it. Okay, but just to be safe, we're going to grab this again and we're just going to touch it everywhere. Make sure it's on. Oh my God, look at that hat. You can't tell me this is not fun. I'm having fun. All right, so now I'm only allowed to use things in my house. I need to create a new band and then maybe have some like flourishes. I really wish I had feathers lying around because that would be perfect, but I'm gonna hit pause. I'm gonna go search my house for all the fun things and see what I come up with. Okay, so I may or may not have got carried away. I have found sparkles. I've got white pearl beads, which could add something. I've got some colored beads. I'm doing a silver themed hardware because I also found this, which could work. I've got some pretty colored press studs. I found some sequins that are sparkly, some more gems. I found this, which I was at one stage going to turn into like a crossbody strap for a bag, but nothing's been perfect enough for it. So I'm like, this could work because I love the sparkles. And we've also got some other stuff. And I've grabbed this because I've had an idea and I found this necklace in my jewelry box, which the blue beads kind of work out perfectly. So now that I've got my haul of random stuff, let me figure it out. Okay, so option one for a band, I actually thought I'd use my I-cord maker with this like sparkly gray silver yarn and then make like a hat band with that. So that's just going. I started it off camera because I wasn't sure if I could reach because you have to plug it in. I do love this. This is just another glorious idea of a use for it. I did actually want to use like a green yarn. However, there's no green on the hat and that would just look weird no matter how cool the yarn was. So if this doesn't work out, we will try something else. I'm about 3/4 of the way through. My arm is getting tired from holding it, but I can't attach it to the table or you guys can't watch. This thing is really cool. It just does its own thing. I love that it's automated. And we're about 3/4 of the way. I've got the hat in my lap because I keep measuring it because there's no point in making more than we need. But funnily enough, that's actually not enough. So circles are deceiving. Circumferences of circles, at least. So I'll pop this here and I'll show you what it's potentially going to look like. See how it's like a nice rope? Now, that's not to say that we can't layer it, but so far, I do kind of like it. We still have, I need to do about that much more. You have to make sure the weight's on there. It makes it lovely and even. So I'm going to pop this back in my lap. See how we're going? Perfect. All right, so all we do is cut, turn it back on. Actually, you don't even have to do that. You can actually come and just unloop it. Grab the loops. It's been a while since I've played with this, but the idea is the same. All right, pull it down. Oh, I missed one. Of course I did. Right, there we go. Pull it out. Problem solved. Love it. We can take the weight off now. The weight doesn't damage it when you clip it, so it'll be fine. Okay, I probably didn't need that much extra, but that's fine. Look at it. I kind of like it, but it still needs more. So I'm wondering if we take this piece of ribbon. Now, it's too wide, I know that, but it's definitely kind of the right color. So I'm actually thinking I'm going to cut off half the stuff. So let's do that. We're going to cut it just a little bit longer than it needs to be because, again, I want to be able to tuck in the raw edge. So we're just going to cut it there. And then we want sharp, preferably smaller scissors. And so there's on here, see there's like a zigzag? I'm just going to cut just this side of the zigzag. All right, cut off that extra bit. This is why you want small scissors preferably. You want to get close without cutting the actual stitches because you'll wreck it. But taking off this border, even though it's not that much thinner, it'll feel thinner, I think, by cutting off the straight edge. I have done one side and it already just looks so much better. I decided to speed this up as well. Okay, done. So let's just, for hypothetical sake, grab our thread zapper. I just want to see if it's going to work. So we're going to turn it on, make it nice and hot, and then just touch the edge. Oh, it works, ladies and gentlemen. So if you wish, you can come along. Let me see if I can show you up close. All right, turn it on, just touch the edge, and it just melts. See that? No more fraying. You just touch the edge slightly. It is smoking a little bit. It's fine. So if you want to, you can totally go along the whole edge. You just got to give it a few seconds to heat up properly. And then along we go. So it also means that instead of cutting, I probably could have taken this and burnt the thing off, but whatever. It does work if that's like if you want a more clean look. I don't put that edge in the bottom because I actually don't care. So I am going to have to cut off a little bit, but that's fine. So that's what we've got. I really like that. Even though it's gold, it'll be fine. And then I'm thinking, don't pull on it, you'll wreck it, right? And then that hides the bottom edge, gives us a bit of silver to kind of ground us. And if I want to, I can have this as like a tail if I want to. It's not a now problem. I also haven't finished that end. I'm going to cut that bit off. But I haven't finished the end because you can just unravel it and then I could stitch the other end into this one and make it look continuous like that. So we could have it as one continuous one, or we can just kind of cross it over and then have it as a tail that hangs at the back. If I'm going to, back side. Actually, probably there, off to like the side back. Like that. But I like that so far. This is coming along great. I did also have this. This was a clearance $2 one from Spotlight. It's more kind of jute-ish with some silver in it. So that was an option as well. But I think I like where I'm going with what I'm doing. And then I found this contour that's also got a center back. So on the side, to hide the join, we're going to screw that into the hat on the side there, and that will hide our little side join on this because it's never going to be neat, and this is the best way to do it. But this I'm going to keep for another project another day. That can go in the bin. These are the jump rings I did find, and they're the biggest I've got, but it's just, you want it kind of big, and that's not going to cut it. So unless I can make some, which is not out of the realm of possibilities. We're also going to use Gorilla Glue today. I'm out of E6000 and I can't be bothered driving to Spotlight, and I'm supposed to use everything that's in the house. So Gorilla Glue is almost as good. So that'll be fine. So first off, let's see if we can overlap it in a way that's going to look the best. If I pull it tight, can I get, oh, see, if I pull it just a little bit tight, I can actually have it seamless. But we want to stop in a low point so that I can hide it as best as possible. Oops, drop some scissors. So I'm just going to cut right there, like that. And then grab my lighter. Now that we know that this stuff is like fraying, you can, oh my God, I can't touch anything. I put fake nails on, the $5 type. They are not working out. Melt across the end. This will prevent it from fraying and looking terrible. Probably don't touch it. It's probably really, really melty hot because it's polyester. But now that it won't go anywhere, I'm going to take some Gorilla Glue. This dries clear. It is actually surprisingly strong. So I'm just going to put a dollop. Actually, you know what might work better? If we put the glue on the edge of here. So I'm just going to kind of tap it along. Because it's not a straight edge, just running a seam of glue is not going to work out the way we think. All right, I'm going to move the hat temporarily to here so that I can get the glue on nice and evenly, because I'm finding that it's easier to move away from myself with the glue. I'm also trying to squeeze it from the end. It makes it much easier later. And this has some grace time. So it's not like super glue. I also wouldn't recommend super glue. It's too rigid, won't survive. I'm going to get to about here, and then I know that there's a few that I need to cut off. So that'll be enough. And I'm only going to glue the bottom for now because I can circle back and glue the top bits in a minute. I want to place it first. So grab it, glue side down, start where you want to start, touch it. I'm pulling it a little bit taut, not crazy tight. And then I'm just touching it to attach it. I'm going to stop about there. I'm going to stop touching it down. I'm going to wrap it around and then pull it tight enough that that's going to overlap so that we hide that first low point. And then I'm going to cut it here so that I can hide the join behind a concho. And then we're going to get a lot of glue. I'm going to put a lot of glue right on this end. You can also glue the end if you don't have a lighter. There's so many ways to finish it. You can finish it with glue, a lighter, your thread zapper, whatever you've got lying around. Depends on what crafts you do. So now that that's on, I'm going to just come around, make sure that it's down all the way, because we don't want it raised up higher. That's not the point at all. And the reason we need our second bit is, see how you can see that when the residue from when we pulled off the old one. Totally going to be worth it though. Trust the process. All right, so now that I've stuck the bottom, I'm just going to take the glue and pull down the high point of each of these, preferably without getting glue everywhere, and then stick it down. So we're just going to put like a dollop there and stick it down. And that will stop it looking weird. And yes, I'm using the word weird because it would look weird. You could run, it depends on what your glue is. If you've got something that's slightly more runnier than this is very gelish-like. But if you've got a runnier one, you can run it along the whole seam if that's what's going to make you happy. There's no reason you can't. It's just with this glue, that would be so much more trickier. Whereas right now, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm just pulling this down, adding a bit, sticking it back on, pulling it down, adding a bit, pushing it back up. Stopping the movement. There's something to be said about not doing straight lines. It's going to have so much more personality. I mean, it's me in a hat, to be fair. All right. Stick that down. Put the lid on this. This always likes to spew out more glue. It is the one downside. Actually, there's a few downsides. It's also really sticky on your hands. Won't stick to you permanently, though. It's not like super glue. It will come off. You just rub your skin against each other. Off it comes. All right, I'm happy. Now we need to decide what we're doing about this. Do I want to have it seamless? Do I want to have it as a crisscross? I could literally crisscross it at the back, but it does need to happen because it'll hide it, and it ties the colors in this with the sparkle, because the sparkle on this is gold, but everything else is pretty much going to be silver. So it's going to tie it all together. We're also going to put all the rubbish in the bin so that I have less mess, because there's already a lot of mess. I really like the idea of having it crisscross and hang, because I can add things to the ends. So we need this, and we need to tie it off. To tie it off, all you have to do is put this through the 4 loops. It's like crocheting. Not that I'm very good at crocheting, but you get the idea. Put it through the 4 loops. Oh, I missed one. Like that. And then grab that and pull it through, and it should tie it off. And if it doesn't, I don't really know what to do if it doesn't, but it should. Come on. I may have stuffed that up. It's fine. Ta-da! And we're tied off. Cut off that. We don't need that. In the bin. Okay. Love it. Crisscross. See, and then if I wanted to, I could add like a chain link right there. I'm going to do that too. I know I'm getting ridiculous. It started off as just a DTF hat. It has evolved very quickly. So, Gorilla Glue, again. If you can, try and only ever squeeze your glue from the bottom. And then, again, if you can, try and fold it up as you go. It will help push all the glue forward. You waste less, because this is not cheap, this glue. One little tube, like 20 bucks. Push all the glue down and then roll it like that, and it stops the glue going back again, which means it'll be where you need it. This one's been through the wars, but it'll be fine. So now I just want a nice solid stream of glue this time. You want it to go all the way around. I'm putting it right in that crease. Okay, lid on so it behaves itself. Now to place it, I'm going to find the center like this. And I'm going to go to the front of the hat, which is up here. I'll show you. So front, center, like that. Down, touch the glue. Like that. And then crisscross at the back. Like that. Now I have to leave that dry. Run your finger along it. Let me do it to this side. Run your finger along it so it sits smooth and down. So you're kind of pushing it into that seam, but also making sure it sits nicely. And then before this edge dries, what we're going to do is we're going to take this little bit here. You'll need 2 sets of pliers. We're going to open it up. So to open it, I always grab this one at like opposite angles like this, like a 90-degree angle, and then push forward and pull back. So do the opposite ways. And then we just clamp all of that because it's gonna look cool. Trust my process, all right? I know my brain seems chaotic, but it will work. And then we're just gonna try and close that while getting everything shoved in it. There's an end, there's an end. Oops. This is really hard to do while I'm showing you. But basically, we're just going to squish them back together with having all of that stuff in there. I'm going to have to do it facing me because I can't do it showing you. It's too hard to grab. All right, 1, 2. Slowly back together while also pushing all that wool or yarn in. Voila. All right, I'm going to let that dry for at least 5 minutes, and then I'll start doing other things to the hat. Okay, I've given it 5 minutes. I found a bag of very colourful feathers. And I'm like, these are the colours, but I don't think the blue one quite goes. So I think we're just going to do 2 feathers. And I can always do blue holographic sequins if I feel the need. So I've pulled off some of this because it was too long. I'm going to have to cut this down. But I'm thinking those 2 like that. Can you feel the vibe there? And then on top of that, once they're in, I can cover it with that. That's what I think. I don't know. Am I a feather in the hat person? I'd like to think that this hat needs the feathers. So let's do it. I am thinking, I don't know how you wrap feathers. I have no idea. But we're going to grab my black polyester thread. I hate sewing with it, but it is still pretty good thread. I just don't like having to constantly rethread. I'm going to take off these fluffy bits because we don't like them. They're too fluffy. I don't know if you're supposed to just rip them off like that, but we're doing it anyway. All right, and then we're going to get them and sit them the way we want. And then hopefully, I'm going to hold like a really long tail and then just wrap them a whole bunch up and down. Again, I don't know if this is what you're supposed to do, but I'm under the assumption that this will work fine. Chop it off. And then tie the first and the last bit together. Again, you won't see it. It's more about holding them together because I do know from experience glue's not really your friend for this, whereas the glue will definitely stick to the polyester part that I've just done. So I'm hoping that will give us something. I also may have, probably should have researched how to do this. But like everything else in my life, I'm just winging it. I'm doing lots of knots so it doesn't come undone. It just feels like the right thing to do. And then I'm wondering if I can maneuver that around the front because I really wanted the white one on top. You know what? That's going to do it. That looks pretty good. It's quite tight, which I'm fairly happy about. They're terrible scissors. Chop the tails off because we don't want them poking out either. And then I might have to cut some of this down too. Yeah, these scissors are fine. I've got a sharpener for these, so it'll be fine. Also though, use the back part of your scissors so that on the off chance you can't sharpen them, you won't totally destroy them. Right. That looks about right, doesn't it? I will glue it in a second, and then that will go over it. See? How far out are the feathers supposed to stick? I really don't know what I'm doing, guys. Probably more down like that. All right, I am going to put them there like that. I've literally always wanted a hat with feathers in it, so feels right. Lots of glue. Push it in. Then I'm going to have to glue this because trying to get that and with the tiny little screw it comes with is not going to work. So to make this stick, I am going to put a lot of glue around the inner edge. Now you might be like, why so much glue? Because it's concave, so it's not flat on the back. So you need enough glue that it's actually going to attach to the hat. Don't be scared of the glue, it'll be fine. And then I'm just going to sit it over the join, touching all the things, and I'm going to have to hold this for a while. So I'll come back once I feel confident enough to let go. It's probably going to be about 2 full minutes, which will seem forever on a video. Okay, so is it forever stuck? No, but I have held it there for quite a long time that I'm feeling confident it's at least kind of grabbing on, so long as I don't jostle the hat too much. So far, I am loving it though. Like, I've got a whole vibe, but I really wanted to do like a piercing in the hat. And if I can't do that, my other solution was, what if we put some mini like grommets like this, and then I could take this very thin black and silver ribbon that I found and kind of thread it through, so you've got like a cross stitching around the brim, but just in a section, not too much. All right, so let's do these holes. I have put the hole punch for the 6mm into here. You can buy these at Spotlight, but you'll have to obviously manually make the hole. So I'm going to go with the first one right there. You want to push like your whole weight on it. And this might be a bit tricky for it to cut. Please ignore the banging. That is Obsidian. He has the zoomies at the moment. So it didn't quite cut it out, but it gave me a guide, so I can just use scissors. And then we need a ruler to mark the rest. So now that I've got the first one, we can go 1 inch. I think I'm going to do full inches for the center points. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The cat has seriously lost the plot over there. He's playing with a cardboard box right now. All right, so then I'm going to put the dot on the next one. Actually, might have to move in a little bit so that I don't get the stitching accidentally. And then all your body weight. That one punched beautifully. Next one, body weight. Body weight is the easiest way to do this. Don't just try and use your arms. We're not all strong enough for that. And why hurt yourself unnecessarily? Okay. Ta-da! 5 holes. Then we can switch these out for the other pair. So these are the ones, this is spring-loaded, so it goes down. And then we pop this in. Now the reason we had to wait to do this for jostling the hat is because we actually put these in upside down. So this is going to sit like that, but I have to flip the whole hat over, and I'm going to have to hang it off the edge so that I can get everything on like that. And then we're going to take one of the back pieces, which is, I have them separately in a Ziploc bag. It's just easier to keep them separate. And then you want to have them convex, like a mountain. You want to have them like a mountain because they do have a slight angle. And then this one, you don't need your whole weight for. And then we're going to grab the second one, put it through. Now, even though I'm fairly confident in my glue situation, I am still holding things in place with my hands. That's why the other hand's not moving at all, because I really don't want it to fall off. Next one, in, on, and then a top piece. And again, you want it to be a mountain. What that does, if you put it the other way, it's not going to hold the fabric and then it's more likely to fall out. Even though this is felt and we should all be fine, you should just do it the right way the first time. And the last one. So again, I'm just using my left hand to make sure that nothing is bending or falling off the hat. Oh, and I just dropped that. Okay, I've got it all back. So again, I'm going to just put my hand on here to make sure it doesn't shift. I've got the piece in. Different parts of the hats are obviously harder or easier to get under the machine. Or the cam press. It is technically a machine. If you don't have one of these, you can buy a kit from Spotlight. You just have to hammer them. Slightly more intensive, but it'll be fine. I also just bent the crap out of my nails. So these lasted, what, 2 days? Oh, well, the thought was there. Okay, so that's that done. Pop the machine out of the way. I have enough going on. Oh, don't sit on that. I nearly did. Nearly sat on it. Okay, so now we want to get our ribbon. And I'm going to want to attach that somehow. Maybe I could tie a knot. I haven't really thought this through, to be totally honest with you. Haven't thought it through at all. Maybe I'll just have a tail and I'll figure it out. I'm going to just cut a length. I don't like doing this because it feels like I'm wasting it, but not a lot of other options. So keep a tail, and then we're going to take this and feed it up. Oops, maybe up through the bottom here. Let me change the camera angle. There we go. That might be a bit easier to see. So we've got this one here. Now, I might just grab some sticky tape. This is the heat-proof tape, but it won't really matter. I just don't want to lose the tail. So I'm going to just stick it on like that and then pull this up. And I want to make sure there's no twists in the ribbon because obviously we want it to look pretty from all angles. Like that. And then I'm going to come back up, pull tight, not too tight. It doesn't need to be too tight. And then through. Now I can see twists. There's a twist right there. We don't want the twist. We want it to sit pretty. Now this would also look really good if you had a piece of like rounded leather strapping, but I don't. So we're doing it this way. Now I'm wondering if I go back through the holes and go the other way, will that look pretty or will it look terrible? So we're just going to try it. We might get a nice crisscross. That is the hope. You know what? I do like that. I cut way too much ribbon, but again, it's better to have too much than not enough. And all of that just came loose. Then we're going to go up through that hole. And now I need to figure out how to finish it off because I have not thought that through. Oops, missed. I'm trying to keep this fairly tight. We don't want it loose. It'll look weird. Okay. And then, so that's what we got. I don't know how I feel about this one stopping so suddenly, but I also don't think there's a whole lot I can do about it. Right, pull tight. I can see here it's a little bit loose. So I'm just going to bring it a bit. There we go. Okay, that one's loose at the end. So we're going to pull on that one and then pull on the second one and then pull on that. All right. I still like that. I think it looks cool. I'm going to flip it over. And I might just glue it in place, actually. I'm still going to stick with Gorilla Glue. I'm not switching to a super glue, even though that would be a lot faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a dollop there, put that on top, and then bring this around and put another dollop on top of the ribbon so that then they're layered, and stick that down. And then I can cut off the excess once it's dry. So I'm just going to poke that, make it stick. Put the lid on this. See what I mean? It just dribbles. You should always put the lid back on. Okay. So I'm just going to let that dry. It'll be a few hours. It's 24 hours till it's like fully cured. I won't need to wait that long. I've also got it on my nails, but it won't stick to the acrylic nail either, so that's fine. See, I love it. Now I just need to decide, do I want to put sparkles or is that too much? But I love it so far. Like you could finish right now and be done. But do I want some sparkles? Can I get into the container? The answer is, oh, that's why, because it's going to come out. There we go. So, I mean, we could just put like a few. This also might be too far. It's not. We're doing it. All right, so to do these sparkles, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a silicone mat and I'm just going to like splurge a bit of glue on the mat and then use something small to pick them up with. So let me get that. Here is what used to be a silicone baking mat. It is now my crafting mat that I use for gluing situations, this being one of them. So I'll just need to put like a dollop of glue here so I can get to it easily. I'm going to put it in the heart because why not? Again, I'm trying to squeeze from the back. That's probably enough. This won't stick to that mat no matter what, so we're good. And then, because I'm ridiculous, I'm going to use a sewing awl. So I'm going to dip into the glue and then I'm going to touch the back of one of the sparkles, right? So get enough glue on your point and then just touch it and it picks it up. You can flip it over and then push down with your other hand. Simple, right? Glue, touch it. Oh, that's two. We don't want two. We want one. Stop that. And sparkle. So I'm only putting the purple ones on the bluey purpley roses. And I flip this one over. We'll do this one next. Oh, I've bent that nail too. I'm just too rough. I'm too rough with my hands. These are 2 days old, ladies and gentlemen. Right, touch it, lift it. I'm going to put a sparkle right above the butterfly. Ridiculous? Maybe, but it's cute, so I'm doing it. That's probably a little bit too much glue. That's better. And so then touch the back and sparkles. I know it's ridiculous, but it's just a little bit more fun. All right. So then we're going to flip it to this side. One sparkle, just randomly. Oops, I missed. I got myself instead. Whoopsies. Oh, no, not on me. And this is the downside to when you touch it, right? Nope, 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 nope. That one's going in the bin. I got the glue on the wrong side and it'll lose its sparkle if you put the glue on the front. So let's try that again. Butterfly wing, check. You probably didn't see that, sorry. It was around a corner. Touch it, lift it, flip it, down. And again with my finger. I must have glue on. I'm going to wipe it on my pants, don't judge me. I'm going to use the other end to kind of mix them up so I can get the back. Like that. That's 2. We don't need 2. Stop that. Right, above the butterfly like we did on the other one. Touch the back and it should pick it up. Flip it over, down, push. Beautiful. That's enough purple. Let's do some blue. So the good thing about this packet is that all the colors are the same. And you only squeeze out a little bit because that's pretty much, that's gone too jelly. So we're going to throw that out and get some more glue. We want good glue, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit more. You don't need too much. All right, glue. Touch the back. Lift it up. And where was I going to put the blue one? Oh, right. So there's a gem. See, I don't know if you can see that. So we're going to actually go over the gem design with an actual gem. So now it sparkles. Ha 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 ha. That might be it for blue. Let's go to the pink, and I'm going to put some pink on the roses. All right. Touch the glue. Touch the back. And right in the middle. Why not? Pivot. Glue. Back. Down. I'm going to put it right in the center. You know what? Maybe I want more sparkles. See? I never know when to stop. It's a problem. Okay. Oops. Missed. Stuck to my finger. All right. I'm going to wipe my fingers on my pants. And no, it's probably not the done thing to be doing. Mix up. There we go. Perfect. 1 and 2. 3, 4. I know it's under the feathers, but we don't skip it because that would be silly and unnecessary. It's not like these things are expensive. I got this whole pack off Temu. It was like a couple of dollars. Maybe $3 for the whole lot. And I wanted a second sparkle on there. Ooh, stop sticking to me. Okay. Are we done? No. No, we are not. Because I want to put a couple of black sparkles on the, what I assume are black lilies. I don't really know my flowers, so forgive me if I'm wrong. But I think it's a lily. Anyway, we're going to put some sparkles on those. And I want to put a black sparkle on the front. A little bit of glue. Touch the glue. This won't wreck my sewing all either because I'll get all the glue off before it fully sets, so it'll be fine. What we might need to do is stir them up. See how they're all facing the top? We need them upside down so we can touch the back without effort. So just mix them up accordingly. You'll be fine. All right, put one on there. Apparently I'm doing lots of black. And one there. Nope, that was not enough glue. And that just seems like too much, so we'll just chop it in half. Down. Better. See, so now it's just got a little bit of sparkle. I'm going to put one on the front here because we can't leave the front out. That would be silly. If you have E6000, I highly recommend it for stuff like this. You can also buy glue called Gem Bond if you don't have access to E6000. I know Spotlight has something called Gem Bond. It looks more like PVA glue. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just what it looks like. Dries clear though, so obviously drying white would be a disaster. Why? Glue, touch it, and down. And then on the front, too much glue. See that? Way too much glue. Touch it. And then, bam. Right there. Okay, I think that might be enough gems, ladies and gentlemen. I think we might be finished. That is a fabulous hat though, and it's just got like a little bit of sparkle. Oh, this came undone. All right, so I might have to hold this for a little while it sticks. We can't win them all. But I don't want to use super glue. I don't like that it goes white sometimes. I'm not a fan. So trim off most of that so it's not in the way. Maybe that was a factor. It also might stick longer and better now because it's like partially dried. And there we go. I love that hat. I think it's come out amazing. It's a lot more exciting than the plain brown hat that it was. If I could get it to kind of curl up, I might try that, but it's not really something I'm good at. And the last thing to do is to just kind of re-rough up the felt, right? So I'm just going to rub this. If you've got like a nail brush that's dry, mine's wet because I was cleaning out the car earlier. But if you've got a dry nail brush that you like clean your nails with, rubbing that over here will probably also help with getting rid of that line. But at the moment, I'm just using the back of the ruler and aggressively kind of going back and forth. Do not do this over the DTF. You will wreck it. Well, potentially wreck it. I'm just not taking that chance. But you can see already. See how it looks better? You haven't got the marks of the iron anymore. So you're just going to rough it up where those marks are and the surrounding areas. Heaps better. See, over here, you just rub around it. Looks better. And then that's it. There is your fabulous hat. I hope you learned something. I hope you try this, actually. If you have a DTF machine, I really hope you try and design your own fabulous hat because it can literally be anything that makes you happy. All right, guys, don't forget to like this video and make sure you are already subscribed to my channel. I will see you in the next video. Bye!